on!
And now for something completely different. It's That Wrestling Show on the Road. Hello everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of That Wrestling Show, as for the first time ever, this program, the entire episode, is on the road. Unfortunately, due to technical issues, Fro could not be here. I've been working on it, trying to fix it, but for some reason it wasn't working. So Fro will not be on this week, but he will come back next week as I return back home. This week, going to talk about the Best in the World pay-per-view. Going to give my thoughts on the event and the results, plus the big surprise that took place the very next day after the pay-per-view had ended. Plus, going to make my predictions for tomorrow night's big New Japan event in San Francisco, and a whole lot more. I'm going to be saying a lot of ums here. I apologize. I want to start the show with a topic that has been probably talked about or been talked about on all the wrestling podcasts this week, and I just wanted to share my thoughts on this, and that is the tragic news that Matt Cappotelli passed away this past Friday at the young age of 38 years old. Matt was a guy who, if you had watched that third season of Tough Enough, you know how his character came along, and I don't mean character on TV, I mean character as a human being. Matt was so full of life. I never met him, but if you'd watched that season of Tough Enough and you just saw him, what he was, you knew he was special. He was something very, very special. I had said a couple weeks ago when talking about him stopping the treatments that if he had not developed the brain tumor, or if that brain tumor had not been developed in his head, I think he would have been something really special for WWE. And I think a lot of people felt that way watching him. This is a sad story of really what might have been. Because the other winner from that season, John Hennigan, who ends up becoming John Morrison, we saw what he became, and he became really good. But imagine how good Matt would have been. Imagine how good he would have been, had he not gotten this cancer, brain tumor. And he would have been something. He really would have. this is actually hitting me harder than some of the other recent deaths, like Bruno and Vader, because a lot of us that listen to this show, that watch wrestling, we saw that beginning of Matt Cappotelli. We saw what he went through on Tough Enough. And for the people in Ohio Valley Wrestling, in Louisville and those areas, they saw what Matt could do and the potential he had. And basically, it was taken away from him. Not by drugs, not by alcohol, not by doing stuff illegally. It got taken away from him from health. And in a way, it did, but in the same way, it saved his life. Had he not gotten that MRI for that concussion, they would have never found the tumor. And if they had never found the tumor, it probably would have been a lot worse. Matt is somebody who, when we look back at the annals of wrestling history, unfortunately, his name is not going to be anywhere in that book. But if you are someone like myself who watched him, like I said, watched him on Tough Enough or watched him in Ohio Valley Wrestling, you knew how special he was. You knew how special he was going to be. And sometimes, stuff gets taken away from you. And there's no reason to it. There's no answer. There's no, it was because of this, it was because of that. In a way, the brain tumor ended his wrestling career, but in the same sense, it saved his life for it being discovered. And he managed to live a pretty normal life, got married, had kids, had a full-time job, managed to make money, and then the cancer came back, and after the radiation, the chemotherapy sessions, it just couldn't do it anymore. And it's like I wrote on Twitter last week, on my own personal Twitter. My mom once said to me that God has a plan for everyone. Don't know when, don't know how. God has a plan. If you believe in God, He has a plan for everyone. He had a plan for Matt. He obviously had a plan for Matt. Like I said, this is hard. He was a stand-up guy, should have been something. He should have been a big, big star in wrestling. And we'll never know. We'll never know what would have happened. He could be, if he was healthy and was in WWE or anywhere in wrestling today, he probably could be the biggest star in the world right now. But because of what happened, we'll never know, unfortunately. Matt was buried this past Tuesday. I just want to send my condolences. My thoughts go out to his entire friends and family. But it seems like while it may have a tragic ending. There could end up being a little bit of a happy ending. There have been reports this week that the WWE, and more importantly the Hall of Fame, they're gonna do something for Matt Cappotelli for next year's Hall of Fame. What I have heard is he could more than likely be the recipient of the Warrior Award. And I know that a lot of people bash the Warrior Award for being a use of publicity, which I understand. But if anyone deserves that award next year, it is Matt Cappotelli. And I hope they do give him the award, because he fought a fight that not a lot of us will ever know. Not a lot of us will ever get to know. And it's just sad, but hopefully this report that he's going to get this award is all true. But Matt, I think, would have wanted us to move along, to move ahead with the show, which is what we're going to do, or what I'm going to do here. And I'm going to talk about right now SummerSlam weekend. It is a little over a month and a half away. And if you're going to be in the Brooklyn, New York City area and you don't know what you have planned, I have some information that might help you with your plans for that weekend of the 17th, 18th, and 19th, and if you even stay a little longer, the 20th and 21st of August. This is from PWInsider.com. Mike Johnson reported these events, which look very interesting, to be honest with you. Start with Friday, August 17th. There's going to be 2 shows that night. The first one, House of Glory, will have a show in Jamaica, Queens, New York at Club Amazura, with the main event being a no ropes match with the Amazing Red against Anthony Gangone. And women's action will see Violet and Shea, maybe I pronounced that wrong, against Sonya Strong and Jessica Havoc, plus the wrestler formerly known as Enzo Amore, Real One, will be making an appearance there. Also that night, GCW, Game Changing Wrestling, presents Janela Lost in New York. It is going to be in Long Island City, Queens, at the Melrose Ballroom, with an interesting double main event. Nick Gage is going to take on Ming, a.k.a. Haku, and believe it or not, it's not going to be the only time I mention Haku's name in the show this week. Haku will be brought up again a little bit later on. The other half of the double main event on that show will be Joey Janela, because, well, the show's named after him. Why would he not be in the other half of the double main event? He's going to take on Hakushi. What a match that's going to be. That's going to be a really, really good double main event there. On the 17th of August at 12 p.m., there's a special event called the Rocks Off Wrestling Boat. It is going to be a 3-hour cruise. Well, remember what happened to that last 3-hour tour. They all ended up on an island with a guy named Gilligan. But this cruise is going to be around New York City, that will feature, once the boat sails into New Jersey waters, live wrestling action on the ship's top deck in front of the Statue of Liberty. You heard me right. They're going to wrestle in front of the Statue of Liberty, and I don't think they're going to allow anyone to attempt a move climbing up the Statue of Liberty. But it will feature Joey Janela, Tommy Dreamer, the Hurricane, and Matt Striker. And then also, actually the 18th, pardon me, not the 17th, the 18th of August. Also on the 18th is NXT TakeOver Brooklyn at the Barclays Center. The 19th, SummerSlam in Brooklyn. The 20th, Raw in Brooklyn. And the 21st, SmackDown Live and 205 Live in Brooklyn, New York. So, going to be a very busy weekend for the Brooklyn, New York area. Very, very busy. Bray Wyatt was not on Raw this past Monday night as he was involved in a car crash while traveling to the airport to head out to do some shows last weekend. He obviously did not make it due to injuries. JoJo, for those of you who are not aware, and I'm sure a lot of you are aware by now, Bray Wyatt's girlfriend, aka cheating hoe, was not on Raw not on Raw this week because of the accident. No reports were made if she was injured at all. Seems like the injury bug has hit another WWE wrestler. It was mentioned on Raw this past Monday night. Ruby Riott was not there. She had suffered an injury over the previous weekend after having a match with Dana Brooke. She is going to be out of action for a few months, but fortunately it is only a sprained MCL, not a torn, so she'll be out for a little while, but she's not going to be out for too long. I want to wish her the best and hope she recovers real soon. Also want to send out get well wishes to Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. He had surgery on his hip a few days ago, and he replied on Twitter on Tuesday that, quote, "Finally back at home resting up. Thanks again for all the well wishes and prayers. Very humbling. Have no doubt the dragon will be back and breathing fire again soon." And I'm sure he will be breathing that fire real soon, wherever he goes. Well, we're in the month of July, and that usually means a lot of new content gets put up on the WWE Network, and the Vault, their Vault section, which is probably their most popular section, with the exception of NXT. There's been some news about different stuff getting uploaded onto the network. There's going to be more Mid-South Wrestling that gets put up in the near future, more WWF All-Star Wrestling, more Saturday Night. Recently, they had put up some more Mid-Atlantic Wrestling not too long ago, and they're also going to put up some more of the Coliseum video releases, so that's going to be pretty cool. Of course, that has no effect on Coliseum Corner, cheap plug, which I'll plug again at the end of this week's show. And with the lawsuit dismissed from Buff Bagwell and Raven, Sunday Night Heat has been put up recently, and there's going to be more episodes of Sunday Night Heat getting put up in the very near future. Very near. How near? Pretty near. So tomorrow night is New Japan's second show of the year in the U.S., the G1 special, which is taking place in San Francisco, California, at the famous Cow Palace. This event is going to air live on Access TV, 8 p.m. Eastern. That's going to be 5 p.m. Pacific. I have the card in front of me, going to talk about all these matches, and then I'm going to go into making predictions for each one. So this is the order of tomorrow night's card for G1 special in San Francisco. It will start with a 10-man tag team contest. Sho and Yo, Rocky Romero, Gato, and Yoshihashi will face Chase Owens, Yujiro Takahashi, Tonga Loa, Tama Tonga, and King Haku. That's right, Haku going to be in action. Also tomorrow night, tag team action. Toru Yano and Tomohiro Ishii will face Zack Sabre Jr. and Minoru Suzuki. That's going to be a tag team rematch from the Dominion event that took place just about a month ago. Other tag team action will be taking place as Kushida teams up with Hiroshi Tanahashi. They're going to face the team of the Villain, Marty Scurll, and Hangman Page. The Never Openweight title will be on the line as Hiroki Goto will defend the title against challenger Jeff Cobb. The IWGP Tag Team titles will be on the line. This is another rematch from Dominion. The Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, will make their first defense of the IWGP Tag Team titles as they will face the former champs Sonata and Evo. In another tag team match, Will Ospreay will team up with Kazuchika Okada as they will face Bushi and Tetsuya Naito. In what could be the show-stealing match, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship will be on the line. Hiromu Takahashi will defend against Dragon Lee. They have quite a history between the two of them. The IWGP United States title will be on the line as Jay White defends against Juice Robinson. And in the main event for the IWGP Heavyweight title, his first defense since winning the championship, Kenny Omega will defend the title against Cody. And there's a lot more on the line than just the IWGP Heavyweight title. We'll talk about that in just a moment. So I'm going to go through these matches, and I'll tell you who I think is going to win. So I'm going to start with a 10-man tag. It is Chaos against Bullet Club. As much as I am a Haku guy, and I'd love to see them win, I don't think they will. I think Chaos is going to take the win in that special 10-man tag. Next match, Toru Yano and Tomohiro Ishii against Zack Sabre Jr. and Minoru Suzuki. I'm gonna go... because the first one, Sabre and Suzuki won. So I'm gonna say Yano and Ishii win that one to sort of even it up. Okay, then Kushida and Tanahashi against Scurll and Page. That's another tough one. I am going to go with... I'm going to go Kushida and Tanahashi on that one. May be wrong, but who knows. Never Openweight title, Goto defending against Jeff Cobb. This could be a very interesting match. This could be a potential breakout match for Jeff Cobb. And if you have not seen him in action, folks, this guy is something. He is very, very talented. Goto just got the belt back. I'm gonna say Goto takes it, but I think Jeff Cobb's gonna have a pretty good performance. Then we have the IWGP Tag Titles, Young Bucks against Sonata and Evil. If I remember correctly, last year, the team that went in as champions lost to the team they beat, so I think that's what's going to happen. I think Sonata and Evil are going to take the belts back. Then the tag match, Ospreay and Okada against Bushi and Naito. I'm going to go Bushi and Naito on that one. I think Los Ingobernables are due for a win. Then the junior heavyweight title, like I said, this could be the show-stealing match. Hiromu Takahashi against Dragon Lee. I think this is going to be a very exciting, fast-paced match, but I think Takahashi's going to win. It's his first defense of the title since he won it at Dominion. I cannot see him losing it here. Jay White against Juice Robinson for the United States heavyweight title. I got to go Jay White. I think as much as Juice has improved, and he has improved tremendously from his days in NXT, I think Jay White is going to retain the title. And then the main event, the IWGP Heavyweight title on the line, Kenny Omega against Cody. And Kenny Omega has made this match even bigger than it already is, because whoever wins this match will be, once and for all, the leader of the Bullet Club. That's what Kenny Omega has put up along with the IWGP Heavyweight title. And it's Omega's first defense of the title. There's no way Omega loses this match. Kenny Omega will retain the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. That's going to be a very exciting show. Very good looking show, in my opinion. Have to wait and see how things turn out. One other bit of news before I talk about Ring of Honor. The Miz, it was announced earlier today, will not be at Extreme Rules in 9 days, and there's a very good reason. Because it was announced today that The Miz will take part in the upcoming All-Star Legends and Celebrity Softball game in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. That is on July the 15th. It is a 4 p.m. start down at Nationals Park. This is part of the All-Star Game festivities for Major League Baseball. Snoop Dogg, who is a celebrity wing member of the WWE Hall of Fame, will also be involved in that game. For those of you who have never watched it, what happens is this airs after the Home Run Derby takes place. So if you cannot make it to the celebrity softball game, you can watch it the next night on ESPN on July the 16th. Alright, let's get into Ring of Honor and their most recent pay-per-view, Best in the World. And it was quite a pay-per-view, I think, from top to bottom. A lot has happened this week for Ring of Honor, and it starts with the pay-per-view from this past weekend. Now, I gotta tell you all, to be honest, because I was on my way here to Parts Unknown, I did not get to watch the event as it happened. So, I watched the event on, I want to say it was Sunday. Yeah, it was Sunday. So that's when I watched the show. And then I also watched what happened after the show, which I'll get into in just a little bit. So let's talk about Best in the World. I have my ratings, and I also have Dave Meltzer's ratings, and I'll give you guys my thoughts and give you his thoughts as well. Started off with the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team title. Los Ingobernables, Evil, Sonata, and Bushi challenging the Kingdom of Matt Taven, TK O'Ryan, and Vinny Marseglia. And I noticed in this match, Marseglia has a Michael Myers knee pad from the Halloween movies, which was very interesting. This was a good opening match. I liked the match. I thought it was a good pace. I thought it went very well, very good. Just a really good opening match. The Kingdom went on to retain the titles in this match. I gave this a B. I thought it was a good, solid opening match to this pay-per-view. So I'm going to give it a B. Meltzer gave this 2.5 stars. Next match was Flip Gordon against Bully Ray. Man, they made Flip Gordon look like $1 million. I mean, okay, so Gordon comes out. Bully Ray attempts to sneak attack him from behind, and Gordon catches him, and he is just on fire. He just is going all over the place. He's doing all these different moves on Bully Ray, just taking advantage of him. Bully Ray had a little bit of offense in there, but Gordon was just on fire, and he was about to hit his finishing move when Bully Ray gave him a low blow, and the ref called for the bell. That called for the disqualification. After the match, Bully Ray went to get some toys from under the ring. A couple of the wrestlers tried to help out, including Cheeseburger, and then Colt Cabana comes out from the commentary position, and he was about ready to fight Bully, but Bully just didn't want to do it. I thought Flip Gordon looked really good. Bully Ray put Flip Gordon over big time in this match. The only thing, though, I just didn't like the end. I did not like the end of the match. Although, it is going to serve a good purpose for the continuation of the story between these two guys. I gave this a B-. Meltzer gave it 2 stars. Next match was the 8-woman tag team match. On one side, you had Hazuki Kagetsu, Hana Kimura, and Kelly Klein against Sumi Sakai, Jenny Rose, Mayu Iwatani, and Tennille Dashwood. I really liked this match. I really did. I thought this was a really, really good match, showcasing the women here. The fans were really into this match for the duration of this match. I thought it was really good. In the end, Iwatani defeated Kimura with a really good-looking dragon suplex. I'm going to give this a B. Meltzer gave it 2.25 stars, but I thought it was a really good match. I thought I did. Or at least I thought it was a good match. Next up was Kenny King against Austin Aries, and in this we find out during Kenny King's entrance that he will be on Bachelor in Paradise. Yep. Bachelor in Paradise. That airs in the summer. I have the date, actually. It's going to start August 7th. So if anyone wants to watch Bachelor in Paradise, go right ahead. Although, the one plus is they do air those commercials playing Almost Paradise. Really good song. But no, good match. Good story told with this. There was one point in the match where Kenny King looked like he was going to hit the royal flush on the apron, and Aries is screaming, "Don't do it! Don't do it! I'm your friend! I'm your friend! I'm your friend!" And he doesn't. And then Aries would later come back, and he would just, pounce on Kenny King. And at one point, Aries hit a brainbuster on the floor, and the Baltimore fans were funny. They were chanting, "You killed Kenny," and then you hear the other ones going, "You bastard! You killed Kenny, you bastard!" Which was a pretty good chant. Ending was good. Aries was a little sneaky, but he won the match clean with the discus forearm and brainbuster combination, getting the win. I think we're going to get more of that in the near future. I gave this a B. Meltzer gave it 3.25 stars. Next up was Kushida against Jay Lethal. This was another solid match here. Both these guys were going at it. Kushida in this particular match was the villain, was the bad guy in this match, which was interesting. But these guys turned in very good performances in this contest. I could buy Kushida as a heel. If they work on it a little bit more, I could buy Kushida as a heel. Jay Lethal got the win with the lethal injection. Just a really good match all around. I gave this a B. Meltzer gave it 4 stars. Just a really good match all around. Then we had... this match was weird. The Ring of Honor World Television title in a street fight. Adam Page challenging the new champion, Punishment Martinez. Because originally this was going to be just a regular street fight, but a few weeks before the event, Punishment Martinez defeated Silas Young in Texas to win the television title, thus making this match for the Ring of Honor World Television title. I mean, it was a good street fight. You got to see the normal stuff, but the ending... Okay, I said at the ending because Martinez brings out the bag of thumbtacks. So he pours the thumbtacks down. Adam Page manages to lift Martinez up, and he slams him into the thumbtacks. Then, as Page is going to do a move on Martinez, Martinez grabs Page, gives him a choke slam through the table, and then as Martinez goes over to lay down for the pin, like he's laying over on him, his shoulders are also onto the mat. And Cabana, and I got to give Cabana credit on this. He made a good point. It's like, well, wait a minute. Who won the match? Because in all technicality, while Page was getting pinned, Martinez was getting pinned as well because his shoulders were down on the mat. But Martinez ended up retaining the title. I gave this a B-. Meltzer gave this 3 3/4 stars. I think the ending ruined it a little bit for me. Then we had the Ring of Honor Tag Team titles, the Briscoes against the Young Bucks. This was another good match between these two teams. These two teams cannot have a bad match. Story here was the crowd was split 50-50, but at the same time, the Briscoes were willing to do whatever it took to keep the titles. And where it happened was the Young Bucks had Jay pinned. Like they had him pinned. They had him beat. Mark goes to the top rope and he hits an elbow drop on the referee. And because of that, there's no disqualification. The referee never called for the DQ. So the match continues. We get a few extra minutes of, these teams are doing something cheating to win. And then in the end, the Briscoes end up winning it with the Razor's Edge off the top rope. Briscoes retained the title after the match. SoCal Uncensored, Christopher Daniels, Scorpio Sky, and Kazarian, they come out, and it looks like they're going to hit the Bucks, but they instead end up hitting the Briscoe brothers. And this is going to lead into something very interesting. I can take it for that. I gave this a B. The thing is, if the ref had called for the bell after that elbow drop, I could live with that. But the fact that he didn't, and the match just went on, sort of hurts it for me a little bit. I gave this a B. Meltzer gave this 4 3/4 stars. That was not a 4 3/4 stars match. It really was not. So now we go to the main event. Triple threat match for the Ring of Honor World title. Marty Scurll, Cody, and Dalton Castle. Dalton Castle playing through the pain in this match. And during the match, we see Nick Aldis, the reigning NWA World Heavyweight Champion, out there at ringside, because he had made a deal with Cody that he would defend the NWA World Heavyweight title at the All-In event if Cody wins the Ring of Honor World title, and they make it a title-for-title match. So Aldis is there with good intentions. Short main event was good for the amount of time that it had. Aldis does get involved. He breaks up the pin by pulling the referee out. The boys try to help, and one of them just gets slammed down to the floor by Nick Aldis. It looked sick. It really looked sick. Eventually, everybody that was at ringside got kicked out, and then The end of the match, and I like the ending. I really did. Cody has a bag of salt, bag of powder in his hands. And he's going to throw it at somebody. Well, Marty sees this, and it ends up going into Cody's eyes. So Cody is blinded somewhat. Marty's got an advantage on Dalton. But Cody, he hits Crossroads on Marty's skull while he's blinded. Dalton pushes Cody out of the way. He ends up getting the pinfall to retain the title. Very shocking ending. I did not think Cody was going to retain the title. I thought for sure he was going to lose the title at Best in the World. He did not. I gave this a B. Meltzer gave this 3 stars. So, that's the end of the pay-per-view. Now, the pay-per-view, I'm going to say this. The pay-per-view was a good pay-per-view. However, what happened the next night in just one match basically tops the entire pay-per-view. Like, the pay-per-view was good. But what happens the next night is incredible. Because they are in Fairfax, Virginia for TV taping. And during the TV taping, they make a 4-corner survival match for the Ring of Honor World title. Dalton Castle defending the title against Matt Taven, worthy, Jay Lethal, worthy, and Cody, worthy, even though he had his shot the previous night. Now, I'm going to say this. If you have not seen this match, because I don't know if it's going to be put up on Ring of Honor television. I really don't know. What I'm about to get into are spoilers, and I mean big spoilers. This match was only available if you were a member of Honor Club, their streaming service, which I happen to be a member of their streaming service. This is a solid 20-minute match for the world title. All 4 of these guys go all for it. They just go all in this match. Everybody does their part. Castle, who's still banged up, does his part. Taven is good. Cody is good. Lethal is good. Everybody is good in this match. There is one point in this match where Matt Taven has the match won. Like, he's got the title won. He has Cody rolled up in a schoolboy. But the referee is checking. Or no, I'm sorry. Taven has Castle pin. But the referee is checking on Cody. Taven has Dalton Castle pin for at least a 9 count, maybe a 10 count, before the referee comes back and Dalton kicks out at 2. This is just a very, very good match. Very well done. In the end, Jay Lethal hits the lethal injection on Dalton Castle to get the pin and become the new Ring of Honor World Champion, becoming only the 4th person in history. That's right. The 4th person in Ring of Honor history to be a 2-time Ring of Honor World Champion in a really, really well done match. Meltzer gave it 3 3/4 stars. I gave this an A. This was really well done. I was really bought into the story because all the challengers in this match, they bought me into believing, okay, this guy could win the title. Matt Taven, he had the title won. He had the title won. Cody, on an occasion or two, had the title won. Lethal on an occasion or two had the title won. Dalton Castle on an occasion or two had the title won. But in the end, Jay Lethal comes out of this for the second time the Ring of Honor World Champion. Now, if you are curious, who are the other individuals that have held the title twice? Well, I'm going to tell you. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you right now. Austin Aries was the first one. Austin Aries was the first one to do it. Then Jay Briscoe did it. Then Adam Cole. And Adam Cole had the title 3 times. Pardon me. He is still to this day the only 3-time Ring of Honor World Champion. And now Dalton Castle is the 4th person to have held the Ring of Honor title 2 times. So, a lot happened this week. So you'd think, okay, Ring of Honor just came off a really good week. They had the pay-per-view. It was a good pay-per-view. And, everything's going good for Ring of Honor. That's what you would think. That is until 2 days ago. And boy, does this get messy. Does this get messy? And I have to report this because this is news. I know I talked to somebody who does not believe in this, but I have to do this story. So this story was broken on Wednesday, on the 4th of July. And this is from Taylor Hendricks, female wrestler, worked in Ring of Honor for a while, was a member of the House of Truth with Truth Martini and Jay Lethal. She made comments about her time in Ring of Honor. I'm going to read this tweet to everyone. It says, "It should have been the House of Hendricks. What has Truth or Jay done? What do they draw? Being a funny guy with a book? The other one only talks about his time in Impact copying legends. For real, bruh. The legacy is copying legends." Then, after a person replies back, and I'll read his tweet saying, "I mean, Jay is now a 2-time Ring of Honor World Champion, longest reigning television champion, only man in the history of Ring of Honor to become undisputed champion. No offense to you or anything, but what have you done lately?" Well, Taylor replied back, "The dude you're standing up for is the same dude that told me because I didn't sleep with him, they sabotaged me and took me off TV. That being the almighty Jay." Wow. Okay, so after she put that out, she released another tweet later that night where it said, "Let the hate roll in. Doesn't change what happened. I came forward privately long ago, and now it's public. If I stay silent, I'll be part of the problem. I can't live with that. I'll fight for what's right. Threatening me, supposed burn bridges changes nothing. Let the hate roll in." Whew. Alright. So, again, you would think that's the end of that. Nope, it's not. Because someone else puts their opinion on this, and it is Sanjay Dutt. Now, Jay Lethal did not, he did not tweet back anything He didn't write anything. He didn't say anything about what Taylor Hendricks said. However, a friend of Jay Lethal did, and it happened to be Sanjay Dutt. And I'm going to read what Sanjay Dutt wrote on Twitter, because this is what Jay Lethal liked in his Twitter account. So Sanjay wrote, and this is probably going to get the explicit tag for the week: slander, fucking insane, batshit crazy. And Jay Lethal liked the tweet. So, what's Ring of Honor supposed to do in this situation? Well, there's only one thing that they can do, which is release a statement that they have to do. I mean, they're a company. They have to release a statement. I'll read the statement to you all. We were troubled to hear the allegations that surfaced last night on Twitter. We take these matters very seriously and will be investigating the situation thoroughly, reviewing all evidence related to the matter. Ring of Honor strives to provide an environment and workplace where male and female wrestlers are free from any misconduct or abuse. We will take appropriate action upon the conclusion of our findings. Okay, so you'd think, alright, that's the end of that story. You know, this story will probably come back up in a few weeks. Oh, but doing the news, talking about wrestling news, that's not the case. Because today, another person has come and has stepped up for Taylor Hendricks. Okay, so what I have here is, this was showcased on the Generating Heat podcast. They showcased screenshots from a Twitter conversation between the host, JG, and an anonymous female wrestler based in Florida who reportedly validated Hendricks' claims, citing her own against the current world champion, Ring of Honor world champion. JG, after the video was released, talked on The Last Word on Pro Wrestling. This is what JG said. This is a young girl that has a very close tie to Jay. That's why I reached out to her and definitely wasn't expecting the answer I got. She just wants people to know that Taylor is not as awful as fans are making her out to be. She also told me there are others, but I can't confirm any others. She is a pretty well-known wrestler around the Florida promotions and is on TV. So, we don't know who this is. But, this is a very interesting situation. Jay Lethal, 6 days ago, just became the Ring of Honor World Champion. Now there are allegations by 2 women who formerly worked for Ring of Honor about this whole situation. If this is all true, I think it's safe to say that Jay Lethal's career in Ring of Honor, for the most part, is pretty much done. If it is true. We're not going to know the full details for a long time, I don't believe. I actually have talked to someone, I'm not going to mention his name, but he knows who he is, who, when I posted this article on our Facebook group, talked about how Taylor has a bipolar disorder, bipolar episodes here and there. So the stuff that she is saying may not necessarily be true. Who knows? I want to believe that what the story is not true, because I think Jay Lethal is a stand-up kind of guy. But if it is true, I would be very disappointed in Jay Lethal, and I'd be very disappointed in Ring of Honor for them letting something like this happen. And of course, if more news comes out of this between now and next week, it'll be brought up next week on the show. Well, that's going to do it for this week, so let's start wrapping it up. You can follow the show on Twitter at Wrestling Show 11. Join our Facebook group. It is That Wrestling Show fan group. Just type that in the search bar, and you are right there. That's once again That Wrestling Show fan group. Type that in the search bar. You're right there. And if you can't find it, don't worry. It's not the end of the world. You can click on the link in the description box, and you are right there. Don't forget to check out the website, thatwrestlingshow.com. Please visit the Patreon page, patreon.com/Bill's World of Podcasts, where your support and donations will help not only this show, but some of the other podcasts that I do. Also want to give a quick plug here. The newest episode of Coliseum Corner has been released. It was released on Wednesday, where I reviewed the best of the WWF Volume 2. But was it really the best? You'll have to tune in and find out if it was or not. Well, next week on the show, I can promise you Fro will definitely be back. We're going to review the G1 special in San Francisco show. Plus, we're going to make our predictions for Extreme Rules. That event is taking place in 9 days in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Well, I got to tell you, I enjoyed my time here in Parts Unknown. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I will work on making sure that, if I do this again in the near future, that Fro can be on and be a part of it. Everybody have a good, safe rest of the week. Have a wonderful weekend. And when you are done doing whatever it is that you do, come back here next week for another episode of That Wrestling Show, where I'll be back in my studios. And listen to another episode of That Wrestling Show, the only podcast where all pro wrestling matters. And as we say, wrestle on.